As you said, I'm Anthony Kovacs. I'm Chief Operating Officer for International Lithium Corp. And this is just a brief update on what we've been working on here in Northwestern Ontario and the company in general. I'm going to see, can I make this work? Oh, I skipped one, sorry. I had the honor to be here last year for the first time, like I say, so this is just a brief update, and I know that 10 minutes goes by quick, but I don't have a clock here. Oh, there it is. I'm from Vancouver. I was born and raised there. Those are unceded territories of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh nations. It's a very different scenario we have over there than here in Northwestern Ontario. All of our projects, we have 3 now, all rest within Treaty 3. And we have had communication, of course, with several of the communities in Treaty 3. We do know that we affected them all, but Wabigoon Lake, Ojibwe Nation, is closest to our Raleigh Lake project, and Lac-de-Mille-Lac First Nation is closest to our Wolf Ridge and our Firesteel projects. I also acknowledge that here in Thunder Bay, we're in the territory of Fort William First Nations and on the Robinson Superior Treaty. Forward-looking statements. Most of the information I'm giving you here today is in the public domain except for our new project, but I don't have any real new information on our new project to give you, so we should be safe there. International Lithium's been around for quite a while. We were formed in 2011, spin out from a gold company, and its goal at that time was to advance lithium and rare earth metal projects. It's done a pretty good job of that, focusing mostly on lithium pegmatites now, but our first project was in fact a brine project in Argentina. Lately we've expanded our focus to include copper, simply because the price of lithium, of course, has dropped quite considerably, and it's hard for a junior to raise money when the price of the commodity is really low. Just a brief overview. We have a pretty strong ownership through management and insiders. Ganfeng Lithium was involved in our company essentially from the very start, so they still hold about 6% of the shares of the company. Other than that, we just have quite a large float for a Canadian venture capital company. We do operate on 3 continents still. We're not in South America anymore. All our focus that we are directly involved in is in Northwestern Ontario here. And we do still have a joint venture in Ireland, and we are still looking at opportunities in Zimbabwe, although we do not have any active projects in Zimbabwe. I mentioned Ganfeng Lithium and our brine project. So that was a project, very interestingly enough, was considered very small and very low grade compared to the other lithium brine projects that were being promoted at the time in Argentina. We ended up getting diluted out as the project advanced, and we sold our remaining interest to our joint venture partner back in 2021 as a result of that. This is a Google Earth image from January of the project site. So on the left you can see the construction of the evaporation ponds, and that's about 5 kilometers across. Sorry, the scale's kind of been covered up by the inset map. Where I've highlighted there, I've circled in red the camp that we constructed in 2016, and now you can see that there's essentially a city grown around it. It's powered by a solar power farm, which isn't really in that image. We still have a joint venture with Ganfeng in Ireland. I won't really talk about that right now because we're a minority partner in that project and we don't really control its development. We are looking in Zimbabwe. I just include this here as a reminder that we are international and we are looking for projects internationally. All our focus right now is in Northwestern Ontario. We have 3 active projects. Raleigh Lake, of course, is the key focus. It is owned 100% by International Lithium Canada Limited, a subsidiary of International Lithium Corp. Last year I was here telling you about our maiden resource estimate that we just had published recently. It was produced by Nordman, a local company here, and we're very proud of that. We took an option from a young prospector, enthusiastic fellow, Thunder Bay native, on something called the Wolfridge Project. It's very grassroots, quite speculative. We're still doing little bits of work here to try and see if we can make something work on that one. We gave him some booth space here at Sencan last year to share our booth, and he had a rock with some massive sulfides and some semi-massive sulfides in it. And we couldn't stop looking at that rock while he was sharing our booth space. So now we have taken a 90% ownership in that project from him as well. And that's become what we now call the Firesteel Copper Project. And it's just outside of Uppsala, Ontario. We're targeting a VMS-style mineralization there, but I think the jury's still out on whether or not this is in fact a VMS system. We actually completed a first phase of drilling. We didn't really announce any news on it. We're not really that promotional in these respects, but yeah, we drilled just under 2,000 meters to try and test some theories as to, is this a VMS? Can we use geophysics to target these things? I'll talk a little bit about that if I have time. Just moving along here, we really like infrastructure. The story with the Mariana project, it was low grade, it was small, but it had good infrastructure. So it became an important part of Ganfeng Lithium's integrated approach in Argentina. Here, Raleigh Lake is just outside of the town of Ignace. Ignace seems very receptive to resource development. Everybody is probably aware of the Numo site selection, which is not far from Ignace as well. And our Firesteel project is it's just outside of the town of Uppsala. And in fact, the rock that was sitting, and is actually sitting at our booth again this year, came from a road cut that's cut by the Trans-Canada Highway. There's a drone shot of the Raleigh Lake project area. It looks extremely remote, but we now know it's not. We can see on this map here, we have the Trans-Canada Highway, we have CP Rail, we have Trans-Canada Energy Pipeline. Everything is sort of moving through there. And the vertical line there, or semi-vertical line, that is the existing hydropower line, 230 kilovolts. And it is now in the process of being doubled because the Wasagan line is coming right through there. So really a good set of infrastructure already in place, making for, we hope, easy development of the project. Just a quick cross-section, simplified cross-section to show that Raleigh Lake is a series of gently dipping dikes. And this is the pegmatite 1 highlighted here in this section. And it's basically gently dipping, and then it kind of widens a little bit, and that's where the main deposit is, and then it turns into a thin dike again. We have a number of these thin dikes. Some of them are included in the resource estimate, and they actually go on for quite a distance in many directions. But they're very thin, and they do have spodumene in them, so we know it's going to require quite a bit of drilling to define additional resources, and we just don't have that kind of capital right now to do all that drilling, but we do see some expansion potential possible here. Just to quickly highlight, this is all available online now, open pit and underground resources put together by Nordman Engineering for us last year. Little pit outline, just so we get an idea what it looks like. But I wanted to highlight this slide here. We did the PEA immediately after we got the resource estimate because we wanted to see how does the availability of that infrastructure affect our capital costs and our operating costs. If we go to the bottom right of this slide, we see US dollars 2325. That was the price we used for spodumene concentrate, 6% spodumene concentrate, at the time we did the PEA. Everybody in this room probably knows that that is not the price of spodumene concentrate today. Right above that, we see Canadian 993. That is our operating cost per ton of spodumene concentrate, 6%. I think economies of scale and whatnot might be able to improve on that number somewhat, but I don't think any projects in northwestern Ontario are going to be able to beat that by much. Something really remarkable would have to happen for that price to come down significantly. But the good news is, as we can see on the top left, you know, if the spodumene price was 2325, we would have net present value of 343 million Canadian after tax, 8% discounted with a 44% return, and a fairly attractive capital cost of you know, just under 112 million Canadian. And what does that get us? Well, that would get us a 9-year mine life producing just about 56,000 tons per year of spodumene concentrate. And in my personal opinion, I think much like the Mariana project in Argentina, that this could be a very important source of feedstock for somebody who is building a converter or concentrator. It could really fill in some gaps. I think the timeline to bring this resource into production could be relatively quick, just because of the availability of infrastructure already in place. PEA only looks at the production of spodumene concentrate. There is a microcline or a rubidium resource in there. We're still trying to figure out how to monetize that. The market for that is very opaque. I'm just going to skip forward here because I'm running out of time. This is our Firesteel project photo there. That's the drill there about a month ago, drilling underneath the Trans-Canada Highway. So the outcrop that the rock came from is there. And we're putting together some pretty good information. I don't really have the results to release publicly right now yet. We should be coming out with a news release. If they were really spectacular results, you could rest assured I would be waving them around right now. But we view this as a technical success and as a project that is definitely worth pursuing. Just to show you, you know, we identified 6 target zones just purely based on airborne geophysics and some very limited drilling from the past. And every single one of those that was targeting something that should be massive sulfide did hit massive sulfide. Massive sulfides are mostly pyrite, pyrrhotite, little bits of chalcopyrite, and in some places little bits of sphalerite. There's some core at our booth. If you want to come by and take a look, you can have a look at that. Other than that, I think that pretty much wraps me up, and I still have 2 minutes for questions.